combo from the Thieves! Absolutely shreds through Team Liquid, and that's it! That's the game! That's the series! That is Proving Grounds! An LCS title was not enough! Sending 2 developing players to boot camp into you wasn't enough! Ringing in the year of the Thieves! They're taking it all!
You know, they talk about legacy, kings, dynasty. What about development? That is what we do here in the Proving Grounds. The glory of that big moment is nothing without the work that goes into it. And today, within these legendary halls, history of Proving Grounds will be made. Every single player has put in countless hours, the blood, sweat, and tears shed for this very moment. 397 games played throughout Academy, Proving Grounds qualifiers, and Proving Grounds itself. And it all comes down to one best of 5 on the LCS stage. Both Team Liquid and 100 Thieves find themselves returning after a 5-game finals last split. But this time, figurehead junglers Kenvi and Armeo are here to claim the prize themselves. There is nothing left to hold the competition back, so let's let it flow. The Proving Grounds Finals of Spring 2022 begins now.
Thank you, Mazel, for the opening words of Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon Grand Finals for Spring of 2022. 100 Thieves Academy and Team Liquid Academy are preparing to get on stage for their final best of 5 of the split, and I'm honored to open up as host for the day as Kangas, joined by Magical and Player on the desk. Happy to have Diamond with us. Thanks so much, man. Big fan.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you made it to another finals. Congratulations.
Yeah, somehow I made my way here.
Maybe not on stage, but of course, happy to have you on the desk so we can
Close enough.
get some insight from you on the games. But Magical, I hear that you actually have an interesting statistic on your end, because we've been keeping track of casters casting certain teams at certain games, and there's a champion that Diamond hasn't played with you casting yet.
I'm still upset about it. He played Blitzcrank all the time when I wasn't casting. And I really, really wanted to cast one time that champion.
What's up with that, man?
Yeah.
Soul Strikes, what's up with that?
Yeah, well, the reason behind it is Blitzcrank is very hard to pick, you know? I can only pick it when the enemy support doesn't want to win. So it's only a counter pick to bad champion. So that's what happened.
Odds of Ayla or Busio picking it today?
I think it's extremely low. I don't think any of them play.
NASA support.
Now, oddly enough, there is a chance of that one. But of course, we'll talk more about the teams and the players and what we expect from them throughout the day. But to open up the show, we wanted to start off by just celebrating a full split of games throughout all of Academy and Proving Grounds. So let's take a look at some of the best moments.
As these late game stages come to fruition, Dokolo still on this right side flank. Rosethorn with the massive Warthog kick flash play.
Ooh. Poggers. Is on all fours, has the potential to get some lockdown. Dox has got to be careful. He's actually going to go with the tree. What a massive flash to get over that surge coming out of Dark Wings. The Shadow Surge missing. Dox is staying alive.
First down, Kenvi, TP from Jimmy, over the wall he goes, but they want to chase this down. Chains connect. Dragoon, he can heal up a lot. Same with Jimmy. Pop a World Ender for World Ender with the chains coming back in, but he goes golden to be able to survive. Thompson is on the other side of the wall, but he can't get in, or can Jimmy. 1v3, the legend here from PCS.
I'm going to catch some more waves and enjoy my smoothie. Actually, let me take another gulp.
Yeah, you got to finish the smoothie. Come on, Rafis. Chug, chug, chug. He's not going to do it. Oh, chug, 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 chug. Oh, he's got the whole thing. That's going down the hatch. Let's go.
Oh, man. That's
Spyrex is on the other side. Can you be a hero once again? He can! No way! Spyrex! Huge on stealing that. FlyQuest are still in this damn game. Oh no, look at Iconic 2 right into the waiting arms of Busio, but they don't actually want to go for the play just yet. Instead trying to call the Forge Guard, but they couldn't do it. There's a lot of damage on the back line. They nearly got Kenvi. Kenvi's gonna be the first castle. No, he's not. He's golden. They've got a lot of damage on Iconic. When they're looking for the Feather Guard, they're gonna be able to get kills for Jimmy, and he goes golden. They've got resets. They can chase him down. Violet, he can't do much. He's gone. No way. 100 Thieves. They might have just clawed this game back.
Cell phones up, people. Cell phones up. Joshi, where's your cell phone?
I'm going. Hold up.
everybody. Here's hoping we get another rendition of that today because, of course, we do have one more best of 5 ahead of us. And now happy to welcome back Mizell. Great stuff on stage, man.
Oh, man, I had to run over here real quick. You know, a little sweaty on the brow.
Yeah. How you feeling? You airing it out?
Nice.
Can we get this room to dash temperature, please? Lower the temperature a little bit, make it a little cooler.
It's a pleasure to be here alongside you. Glad we get to have Diamond on the desk and all those along those lines because it's the final day.
A split well spent, I think, is kind of what we learned from that video. But let's also catch up on what the players are actually competing for today because, Diamond, you've actually walked away as the champion in Academy multiple times before, so you might be used to earning prizes. The players actually have some really cool stuff that they'll be walking away with today.
Yeah, actually, they're walking away with the amulets now. Like, it's actually really nice to have like a personal thing because most of the time like the prize goes towards like the team. So I think having it for like individual players is like you can bring it home and like I can show my mom, you know, I'm like, yeah, I want an amulet.
Hanging on the fridge.
Yeah, you just hold in your pocket anytime anybody asks you a question. Like, I got an amulet here.
What about going to the club? You just have that.
Ooh,
you know, like,
that could be drip.
Yeah.
Instantly kicked out.
We'll have to have Rafa. I think Rafa's like the drip police. He'll be the one that can determine if it's appropriate to wear outside or not. But it's sick, right? Because like a trophy, you can't just like have everyone share that. Usually it just ends up in the team house, but everyone walking home with their own amulet, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think it's a different iteration of, you know, traditionally it's going to be trophies or something along those lines. I think it's something fun, it's something interesting. And also, you know, when you're looking at amateur players, when you're looking at the entirety of the developmental system, not everybody has the trophy case to put it in.
And that's what I kind of like about it. It adds that flair. It makes it feel like, you know, Super Bowl where they get the rings, everyone can wear those, they're really excited.
Ooh.
I like the idea of having these amulets that they can take home, they can show off to their friends, their family. They can, like I said, go out to the club with the drip. But I'm just
The club very specifically.
We're gamers. They don't have strong fingers, right? You know, you can't hold a ring. Those things are heavy, so around the neck's better. Yeah.
How dare you assume that of them?
I've met many this last week. I think I can say with relative confidence.
Not bad, sorry.
Hey,
No offense.
Yeah, no offense at all.
Clear offense? What do you mean?
What are you talking about? We don't have no offensive here. No offense. But in all actuality, right, it is 100 Thieves. It is Team Liquid Academy. But for Team Liquid Academy coming up short last split around, and now they find themselves back in the finals, but they haven't been able to win Proving Grounds just yet. And I think that's one of the more interesting topics because going into a rematch a little bit is a lot more riding on it, I feel like, especially. What do you think as a player, Diamond?
I think the last time they lost kind of a fluke, like they didn't have the main roster. Like kind of like the other team didn't have the main roster too. But I think if you're like a team that was like really favored into it and then you lose like your core pieces of the team, it's kind of hard to win, I think. Especially the way they played. Like TLA played last play, it's kind of like their Jenkins and Armao like playing together, like Lulu top and all that stuff. So I think that really hurt their team in general.
And it was in Proving Grounds too. It wasn't like Thieves Academy where like they had the swap come in before the tournament started. So they had some time, you know, to warm up together. This was like mid-tournament. This is happening. You've already played like the first 2 rounds, I believe, at that time. But yeah, the playoff bracket, of course, from last year,
It's
the summer.
crazy, man.
Same 4 top teams.
It's absolutely crazy, the fact that we get the similar runs, but everything's a little bit different. Still a lot of the same in terms of the top teams in amateur in academy as well.
Yeah, but then you look over to 100 Thieves, and I actually really loved their run they've had. The last team remaining, obviously there's only 2 remaining, but the team that played in the play-ins, they're all the way from there here into the finals. This team that struggled in the second part of the round robin in spring, now battling for that title again. I'm just more surprised they were able to get this far once more.
True. The craziest thing is we've had all the development, we've had that kind of run with 100 Thieves and Team Liquid, but the fact of the matter is, Academy's playing today. Both teams are on the stage tomorrow for upper bracket finals. LCS, which is mind-blowing.
And that happened last summer also.
Yeah, it's so fitting that these 2 organizations are finding themselves at the top.
Yeah, and as we take a look at this Splits playoff bracket, of course, it's 100 Thieves not making that lower bracket run. Team Liquid, they got knocked down in the upper bracket finals of last summer, and they're so kind of lower bracket, like asterisks. But 100 Thieves Academy really did have like a very deep lower bracket run here. They've dropped 2 games in the lower bracket out of all, I believe, 5 series at this point that they've played. Absolutely crazy stuff.
PTSD.
Oh no!
No,
Too soon.
Sorry.
Oh no! Oh, they killed Luigi at the end. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Diamond? In all actuality, right, looking at these 2 organizations be successful, that run in multiple Proving Grounds, is that a standout? Is that just because the system and everything behind the scenes, is that much better, I guess?
I'm not sure if their system's that much better itself, but I think like there's like some merit in like every roster. Like, if a roster always like manages to end up well, like that, like their coaching staff, like their way they pick up their players, like all that stuff, like their systems, behind it, like is like decent, right? But I think for TL, for example, like I think it's more impressive for 100 to be in here because they have so many new players in their roster.
And that's the thing with Team Liquid Academy is that they have, for the most part, the exact same roster. Bradley in the Baron lane is the big one that like kind of swapped up, right? He came in as a role swap position, top lane for the League of Legends fans out there. But then now Armeo's back in the jungle. He actually has his opportunity to make this run in Proving Grounds and defend his team when he had to go to Europe for the LCS.
Quick call out on Steve. Baron lane.
Yeah,
Wild Rift.
Wild Rift. Sorry. I heard that play at Sir Butt Kick. You know,
I heard that.
Don't do that. You don't want to do that. But you were talking about like finals and these organizations coming through, but there's one in particular, you know, coming through here in Gamsu, coming back to finals as well. And I think that's an interesting conversation. Diamond, what is your general take on Gamsu as a player in the top lane? I know it's a little bit opposite of your lane, but
the guy who plays top lane, I actually plays Baron lane, and I play I play Dragon lane.
is that just going to be it all day?
Let's just keep it rolling, right? Comedy comes in threes.
Yeah, so he plays a different lane, but I kind of see like, because usually like as a player, you can feel like how good a player is based on like how much pressure they put in the game. I think like Gamsu, the type of player, like, no matter what happens in the game, he's always going to be in it. There's like no like, he's never out of the game necessarily, because he plays mostly like tanks, something that are really stable, but he also has like other picks in his like pocket, you know. So like he's not like a super easy to like play against player. Like you can always count him to like do something in team fight, do something late in the game. So I think he's a good player for sure.
Well, and that's why we see a lot of his Gnar, right? It's that thing that is not exactly a tank, but can kind of have that pseudo engage style like a tank does. But it's one of his most played champions that he does really well, and he can play blind in pretty much anything.
And again, Gamsu, a reminder, yes, this is that Gamsu. If you're at home and you're watching, this is your first time tuning in, you're like, wait a minute, is that the same guy? Yes, he's played League of Legends before in Europe, in North America. He went to Overwatch League, played there. This gamer literally changed professional esports, won there, and is now back in a back-to-back Proving Grounds finals. Like, that's just crazy from like the perspective of somebody who has the drive to keep competing in esports.
I think it's even crazier because it's not only back-to-back Proving Grounds. That last one, he subbed in. He was brought in last minute to play for 100 Thieves Academy from 100 Thieves Next, and then won.
He was on the amateur team for 100 Thieves, because they, of course, have the 100 Thieves Next program, and they got bumped up because Tenacity was over in EU boot camping during the Worlds run. So now on the Academy team, Gamsu has a chance to defend that title. Pretty cool.
He does, and I think getting to see him thrive yesterday, and especially the run that 100 Thieves have been on these last 2 days, is incredible. But speaking of a little bit more towards your direction, Diamond, we got some hype bottom laners here this time around, and especially we've got a couple of differing stories. We've got Ayla, who is branded as the second best support in NA. We'll probably have some
quote. It's official.
Have some maybe strong words about that later. But also on the other side, Rising Star and Busio. What is your take on both these guys?
I think they're very different players. I think Busio just tries to play like he's like a recent role swap, so he plays like kind of more like a mid laner. Like he's just trying to do as much damage as he can in team fight and stuff like that. Whereas like I think Ayla just does like mostly the correct play and like what he has to do in the game. And I think Ayla's really proficient at like the type of champs he plays. Like he plays more champs than Busio does, for example. But Busio likes to just being flashy and like player con stuff like that, you know, like, that's the thing. But yeah, I think they're both good players. Like I think Ayla is quite a bit better than Busio right now, but Busio has like a lot of time to improve. So.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I want to talk about specifically. Ayla is a player, when we look at players in Academy that would be ready to move to the LCS right now, Ayla's a no-brainer, right?
Absolutely.
Especially in the support role. Like, it's kind of a surprise from a lot of us and a lot of the community that Ayla isn't already in LCS. And Busio, rookie split, role swap from the mid lane, and he's in finals up against Ayla. Like that, talk about pressure for Busio right now. Like one of the youngest players we have in all Proving Grounds, but he's had an incredible run so far.
And that's what I was about to say. This guy has been absolutely tearing it up in this bot lane. Flashy, as Zion was talking about, the Rumble support, the Nashville support, playing these crazy styles, but still he finds this way where you can see that more mid lane focus, where he wants to do a lot of damage. He understands the angles he has to take to set up these plays, to really build up the entirety of his team as well.
And we were talking yesterday with Busio, and he was like, during the flank calls, his entire team was like, we gotta go, we gotta go. And he's like, man, if I would have just waited a couple more seconds, it would have been even better. But it's all about playing with the team, and I think Busio has a good head on his shoulders, and especially the way that he goes about himself as a sport in a new role himself. Now, you were talking a little bit about the kind of aggressive style he plays. Do you think that is a boon if you're able to take that into Ayla, or do you think that's kind of something that Ayla can take advantage of?
I think it's a good and a bad thing, because if you roll over against players that like are better than you, then you don't have much to like, you don't have many plays in the game, like you don't many room to do anything. So I think it's good to play like that, but like if it can buy you back if they are better than you, right? So for example, Jan, which is playing for TL Academy, I play against this guy, and this guy wants to ego every single one of my hooks, no matter what. And like most of the time it will hit. Like at one point it will hit, you know?
Yeah.
That's it's gotta hit, right?
So I'm gonna download him and it's gonna hit. You know, it's like that's how like those type of players play. But I think like that's like something you can build on, and like the better you get, the more you play that way, the better you will get as a player. So I think it's the right path.
Diamond, I remember back in the day with Cloud9 Academy where just your thresh was absolutely disgusting. So I get it. I understand.
No, I do believe we got to hear a little bit from Busio about the bot lane. So let's go ahead and listen in.
I think in the regular season, we lost to Team Liquid, mostly because of the bot cap. Me and Wixie were just getting ran. But I think we've leveled up a lot, and if we don't get ran like that the same way, we'll be able to play a more even game, and then it'll just come down to the fighting. Beating Team Liquid as a rookie would feel really good, as they're a pretty experienced roster. They have played together, and beating them would just show I'm a fast learner, and that's a good thing.
Well, they got ran last time. Just don't get ran again, right, Diamond? I mean, it's pretty simple analysis.
Walk it out, I guess.
Yeah. But he did touch on the difference of being rookies, right? Because Wixie as well in the bot lane is a rookie there. So that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch throughout the day. But I think the obvious one that we need to start talking about is, of course, the jungle matchup. Because Kenvi versus Armeo, these are the two junglers that weren't able to actually go up against each other in grand finals in the summer. And now they have the chance to actually represent their teams here in this best of 5.
Now, for me, I guess, if you are a player that had to kind of go away from that kind of situation, Diamond, what do you think this means to them, I guess, from a player's perspective, to be able to actually come in here, represent for themselves in that kind of situation?
I mean, it would definitely like feel like you have something to prove, right? Like I would feel like I need to step up, otherwise it's kind of BG, like just losing pace kind of thing. But I mean, like I would do whatever I can to win, right? And like I don't think like these players like really look at the intangibles that much, like those type of things. They just think about the day, like they come up with the draft, what they played yesterday, they probably practice their comp like the day before, just like and go into it and do your best, you know.
We did hear from Golden Glue they went that 100 Thieves went on their hike yesterday, so I don't know, it might be a little bit of a buff there.
Oh no.
Well, but the funny thing is, Busio didn't know if they were going.
Yeah.
He said, no, I think it's just going to be like a chill night because we're just going to grab food and we got a big series tomorrow. And then Golden Glue comes out like, no, we're going on the hike. We're going. So, I don't know, maybe some synergy between the coaching staff and the players right there. Yeah, I know. But the hiking buff, I think that's real. We learned about that one going into this week.
But I want to bring the conversation back to the junglers, really looking at them, because these are two junglers that have a lot of experience. Kenvi has been hyped up for quite some time, and I'm glad you talked about how they didn't get to meet up last summer. We didn't get to see the matchup between the two. It was really exciting. Everyone was so ready for it, and then unfortunately didn't come to fruition. But you look at the styles these two play. Kenvi is this player that loves to carry, loves to get ahead, likes to play aggressively, invade as much as he possibly can. But Armeo is this control jungler who tries to see if he can make sure that he reins in, almost like a shepherd dog trying to like lead the sheep around into the pin. That's how Armeo tends to play.
At least with Bradley. At least with Bradley, yeah.
Shepherd general.
Well, that's not how I see Armeo at all. I never imagined Armeo like a shepherd, but...
Well, I'm talking about the opposing jungler, not even his own team. That's the reason why I don't use general for this one. He always tries to see if he can slow down the tempo of whoever he's facing off against. Someone like Kenvi, who's exciting, who likes to look for those pop-ups, the invades. So, Diamond, I even want to ask you on your opinion of this, if you think that, like, Armeo might be able to get that advantage over Kenvi, or if Kenvi's just going to be able to have that pop-off performance again.
I mean, Kenvi kind of has to.
Yeah.
I feel like the matchup, he kind of has to play that. I feel like Armeo's like the type of player that's really good against that type of style, though. Like, he's a good, like, stable jungler that, like, is good at playing around his lanes, and, like, if he gets behind, he will usually, like, find a way to come back, and like, he's good around pathing and everything, so he kind of has to. He has to do that. Yeah. So if he manages to, then I think 100 will have a good series. If he doesn't, then it will be quite difficult, I think.
Kenvy's story throughout his development in the earlier stages of 100 Thieves Next into 100 Thieves Academy, oftentimes we would say things about Kenvy like, there's two styles of jungle, right? Either you play to your lanes, or your lanes play to you. And generally, when you're developing as a jungler, you're in one of those two boxes. You don't have a lot of overlap between them. And Kenvy was definitely in his lanes play to him. He goes in, he's the one that controls the pace of the game. He has shown an ability to grow and develop throughout that, though. But when 100 Thieves Academy are looking their best, especially in Proving Grounds, it is often still through the mid jungle.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Kenvy is a lightning rod at this point, and he has been able to take games completely under his control. He's been able to do it on signature picks as well. You see his Kindred coming out yesterday, and I think this guy is on fire, and we've known that he's been on fire, right? He might have had a little bit of a lackluster early part of the split, but when you see 100 Thieves coming together, I think it's so integral that Kenvy is getting ahead. He is getting resources and finding a way to kind of help carry the game off the back of the rest of the team coming together. So when it comes together for Kenvy, I think it's monumental, but what happens if Kenvy is not getting as much as he would want, especially against Armeo, who would control a lot of the game itself? I think that's an interesting question, if you have anything to say about it, Dan.
You just live in peace.
No, you just send Bucio for like a miracle flank. I mean, that's what you do at that point. I mean, you just go for the Hail Mary.
I think it's not like Kenvy's bad at playing from behind, right? Like
No, he's not.
He's okay. Like he's gonna do like the correct thing, and like he's good mechanically. Like in fights, he will be good. I don't think like the whole series will only depend on him if he like dumpsters like or Mauer now, you know. Like I think like the games will be kind of close. Like it will be like a dragon fight probably. Someone's gonna lose their hands and someone's gonna die. But Gumsu's gonna like transform into Reinhardt, just like all the entire team, and then just gonna lose. Like I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And on the other side, no slouch to success, no slouch to pressure, experience, all that stuff. We got Armeo, who himself, I would say, as we've been kind of talking about, has had a bit of a different tail to the take. He's had a lot of different parts of his journey, I feel like, but it all centers around him being a leading point for his team.
Perennially just being promoted, right?
Literally.
Like, Team Liquid just keep throwing this guy up in these like big moments. They're like, oh, by the way, we got a finals coming up.
Played in finals, no big deal.
You're free, right? This weekend. But now, like we've been saying, this is his opportunity to actually play out a full best of 5 with the roster he's been scrimming with, practicing with all split. And yeah, I think that Armeo's journey has been incredible to follow so far. And he's looking throughout the regular season like one of the best players on this team, and also through Proving Grounds is a big reason for their run through the upper bracket.
Well, and you talked about the mid-jungle duo for 100 Thieves. I think that's just as important for Team Liquid.
Absolutely.
You look at how Armeo plays around Hayri especially, and especially if you can get things like LeBlanc, that Ari, these roaming styles for Hayri to tag team with Armeo into these side lanes, that's usually when we see the best strengths from Team Liquid.
Yeah, and speaking of the mid lanes as well, we've been hyping up the junglers. A lot of how both these teams is, and how we expect the series to go in general, will be who gets a better mid jungle combo and who's able to control the rift from there. Jimmy has had an insane performance through the lower bracket run. When we looked at Jimmy's performance through the regular season, I almost feel bad. Like, I didn't give him enough credit for maybe what he was doing at the time, or maybe it just wasn't noticed as much. Maybe it wasn't happening, but it has been happening in Proving Grounds.
I was about to say,
that's a big thing.
I think
like,
he's grown a lot since then.
It's night and day. Like, you can see multiple moments in games where Jimmy is the reason that 100 Thieves are getting an advantage. And you compare that to Harry, who's had a very similar story so far. Like his Ari might just be the most contested champion in this tournament right now, and especially in this best of 5.
if you're blue side, you're Ari side, and if you're not, then good luck.
Easy, simple. It's
GG, well played.
Yeah, I think Ari is really good, and I think Jimin is actually like when I talked to their coach, he told me that Jimin was like that guy, like he was that good. So I didn't know much about playing against him because I'm not a millionaire anymore, so I don't see those type of angles. But apparently he's that guy that makes everything happen for 100. So.
But you also had your own thoughts, because we were talking before we went live about the Team Liquid style comp and kind of how they've been playing the game. And it might be tough for Jimmy to actually navigate based on what Team Liquid Academy, like kind of trends you've been seeing them go for in pick and ban.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to leak anything too much. I
doubt
that's why we brought you here to leak it.
I'm sure 100 knows about that stuff anyways, but I don't want to leak too much. I rather like the pick and ban goes and the people can see like what's happening. But I think like the way like 100 plays is actually they don't play that well around mid. I think they like actually play like more towards bot side, and like Kenvy does what he does, and like I think TL is the opposite, where they're really good at playing like together as like a 3. So I think like despite like 100 being so good through mid, it's not like a 3v3 mid type of thing. It's just more Jimmy and just dumpstering the other mid laner 1v1. So like they're not playing through mid, but Jimian I think is really good. So I mean, I think that we will see something like that either through bot side exploding, mid lane exploding, jungle exploding in the series. I think it's going to be like very important. I think top side's going to be chilling.
Yeah, top Gamsu and Bradley. Of course, Bradley again, the role swap player in his rookie split as well up against Gamsu. That's a big skill discrepancy. But another lane that we haven't yet talked about here, the pairings with those supports. We have Wixie versus Jan, two young players in their own right, and Wixie in his rookie split for 100 Thieves. You're going to hear that a lot because we got a lot of rookies here in finals, which is very exciting in and of itself. But Jan is this player who continually was getting up to that podium, up to that first, second place. They took first at Summer Academy playoffs, but then second place in, Proving Ground, second place in regular season. Then you look back even this spring, Jan was perennially second, and now Jan with the blue hair, as
That's
we did
what I
here.
was going to talk about.
Yeah,
Synergy.
yeah, I love to see that. But Jan's story of development has been incredible, and even some people might recognize him from the time the short game he had on LCS stage with Team Liquid Team Liquid proper.
And I think it's interesting. You were talking about Jan, but also on the other side, Wixie. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday on the desk, but momentum and emotion plays a lot into this game. And we were seeing Wixie pop off on stage yesterday. He was absolutely animated. Talking to Busio afterwards, that I'm not going to put a leash on. He's popping off.
I was about to say, I don't know if everyone could hear on the Twitch channel how much they were popping off, but I was casting that game and I could hear Wixie in the background, and it made me excited. I was already like yelling and going crazy as I always do.
Would you rather have your AD popping off on stage, getting loud, yelling, or would you rather calm, quiet, let the work speak for itself?
Be loud.
There's two opposites, right? Like it's either like when that happens and like your team is like super energetic, and then the next game your team is like depressed because you just lost.
As long as you maintain the energy.
When, like,
That's the important part.
Because like then your team like kind of like the energy like in the focus level kind of goes down a lot because that happens. So I think like most coaches and stuff will tell you like, guys, like take it easy, like
Don't pop off on the desk.
Also, Jan just went Ultra Instinct, so I think it's gonna be. I think that switches.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I didn't make that connection. Well, maybe the Ultra Instinct will get them across the finish line here, because I think it's fair to say a lot of us have Team Liquid Academy as favorites coming into this one. Upper bracket, they've looked very dominant, and that brings us to predictions here. Let's actually start to cover what we think will happen in this series, because we're getting ready for game number 1. So, Mazel, I'm going to put you up first. We'll have it below, but defend yourself here.
All right, first of all, 5 games, because I need silver scrapes. I need to hear it. But
I hope so.
I've had 100 Thieves Academy as my dark horse since they got knocked down in the lower bracket.
You were the one that had them.
I'm still running here. So while I love everybody on Team Liquid Academy, it's got to be a 100 Thieves win. The fact that they have momentum, the fact they've been playing out of their minds on stage for 2 days in a row, easy.
But I will say, the dark horse always makes it to top 3, but never wins.
That makes the difference. True.
All right, let's see. But of course, Diamond, you and I both have Team Liquid Academy together. So in unison, 3-0. That's a 3-0, right?
Yeah, it is.
I need
You were
glasses.
saying it was going to be contested earlier.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 3-0 and go home, guys.
GG, well played.
Yeah, GG, well played. Go home and take the bag. I mean, take the amulet actually.
Take the ambulance.
Yeah, there you go.
I think like TL is gonna smash them. I think it might be like a bit close in the games, but I think like the series overall would be TL favorite.
All right, well, let's hear from the players themselves and what their thought is on the match.
I think Canvas play style is more like selfish. So everyone should have Canvy, and he always carries and he's really good.
So against 100A, Canvy, he's obviously like super strong player. I would definitely consider him the strongest other jungler in Academy. I think like in Academy jungle is like the hardest jungles to play against. It would be like Kenvi and like Malice. Just like Malice is very unique and he's also very good. But like Kenvi, he's just really good at his champs, really good mechanically. And I think like in this regular season, his team was letting him down a lot. So he looked worse like than he normally is.
I think 100 Thieves Academy's playstyle is mainly around Kenvi playing for himself. I think their bot lane struggled a lot in the early stages of the season, so they would often make a lot of mistakes, but now I think they can play for how they actually want to play, but I think it'd be more centered around Kenvi again. I think our team would play into it just very methodically, and we'd just win by playing naturally.
Playing against him last year was like not easy, and like I think he's like an LCS level player. But at the same time, I think like how I play the game neutralizes him very well. He has like a bit of the coin flip style, and like if he falls behind or like things don't go his way, because like if you match his plays and this type of thing, I think I'll just perform better.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, it has actually finally arrived. This is Grand Finals. A journey in the making for both of these teams, but the history between them goes far beyond 2022. It starts last year.
Yeah, since 2021, these teams have played each other 26 times, and 15 of them have gone in Team Liquid's favor. They have so much history between these orgs.
And I mean, the road that 100 Thieves had to take to get back here to earn this rematch, it really feels like this is a different team on the other side, going from being 5-13 in that second round robin for Academy, now 17-4 in Proving Grounds, making that lower bracket run, beating the team that put them in the lower bracket in the first place in Golden Guardians yesterday with a dominant 3-0, now facing the final boss of Team Liquid. A little bit different from the script that we had last year with 100 Thieves waiting in the finals, but hey, we're going to have to see what happens for this best of 5.
We got to mix it up a little bit for the sequels. We can't just do the same thing every year. But the thing that I'm really excited about, right, you already brought their record up and how different it's been from the second half of the round robin. The thing that's been really impressing me about 100 Thieves so far, they took down the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, the 5 seed. They have gone up against every possible tough opponent in this tournament so far, except for Team Liquid.
And for me, this was the tournament favorite. I really thought that once Team Liquid got their full roster back together, it's 4 out of the 5 players that were playing in the Academy finals where they won playoffs.
Yeah.
PG, of course, we did have to send Jenkins and Armeo over to Europe to boot camp with the team, but hey, Kenvi was there too. 100 Thieves had subs as well, and guess what? Both of these junglers, the two strongest junglers that we have in Academy, are going toe-to-toe today as we get our rematch. These guys get to play in their final. We'll see what ends up happening.
And the playstyle between these two junglers is such a stark contrast. Armeo wants to facilitate and set up his team for success, whereas Kenvi, he is the star. He is the primary carry for this team. So you already have to look out for, as we already get through the first round of bans, what is the priority for Team Liquid and 100 Thieves?
And immediately, that's actually very curious for me. So I was expecting a Jinx, Tom Kench, and looking at the bans from 100 Thieves, Josh, we were talking a lot about this early. The Hackram Zamusco, Armeo undefeated on that champion in both PG and Academy regular season, but also the Karma, paying respect to the power of the Dawn Ayla bot lane. That Karma Ezreal's been lethal. But that Zeri first pick, it does give 100 Thieves the Jinx Tom Kench, something that they've played to great success throughout this tournament.
Yeah, this Jinx Tom Kench, we've been seeing it quite a bit. A lot of teams, even Team Liquid, have been going for the Xayah very heavily, really early on. That's what happens when you see it banned. Yan is the original Zeri player. You saw him all over social media.
Oh god, that clip was one of the filthiest clips I've seen. You can't do that anymore on the Zeri. We've had some changes, but
yes!
It's throwing it down!
And if we go back to Team Liquid against Golden Guardians in Game 1 of their winners finals, they saw the Tom Kench matchup and instantly they asked Layla, what do you want into this guy? I'm picking Bard.
Yo, this is kind of crazy. We were looking at how much Viego Lee Sin was the answer yesterday between Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves. It was even true with Immortals versus 100 Thieves, and now he's got to pick which one.
That Viego, I mean, that was a big part of that matchup, the fact that 100 Thieves went from first picking the Lee Sin to taking the Viego, but dropping that. It is a handshake that Kennedy is very comfortable playing, but this is a very successful champion for Armeo. He's 7-3 on the Viego throughout both Academy regular season and PG play. It's his most played, and we'll see, because early on, it feels like 100 Thieves have this identity with the Lee Sin going in, being that solo engage, and where we've really seen 100 Thieves be successful is when they have pushing lanes and a jungler that can invade.
Yeah, and you heard Gamsu say it during our previous tape. He's saying Kenvi is a selfish player. A lot of the time, Armeo is ganking the lanes, but the lanes are ganking for Kenvi. And the Akali ban coming through, that's been really big.
So, something that's really curious about both these teams. Okay, I was going to talk about Gangplank.
100% for both of them.
Yeah, so Bradley, 9-0 on the Gangplank. Gamsu, undefeated on the Gangplank, 5-0 in PG. Oh, that's taken off the table, and it looks like they could be setting up for that Gnar.
Yeah.
Or Gamsu, a champ that we thought was really important for 100 Thieves' success. He is very comfortable blind picking this, and I'm curious to see if they take it off the table.
Oh.
That's a Malphite ban, so I think they're setting up for the Jace Gnar matchup.
Okay, yeah, it definitely feels like both teams are opting into it, right? We've seen 100 Thieves pick up Gamsu's Gnar over and over and over in their spot, but that would be a pretty big mix-up, not because it's new for Jimin or 100 Thieves, but because this is not normally when they're picking the champion. They almost always pick Gamsu here.
I really like, though, what 100 Thieves has so far, because Jinx Victor, such a great pairing, because once you get your Evolves online with that Hex Tech, you have the slows for everything, can really help heal for the Jinx, buy space, and as you mentioned, though, Harry, very lane dominant player. He now gets counterpicked. Curious to see what he ends up going for.
Yeah, and I feel like it's an adaptation from 100 Thieves from what we saw yesterday, right? We saw that they were having Jimmy play up against Pretty Zakali, and to Jimmy's credit, he played it very, very well, but the Rise coming through and the Jays. Now, does Gomsu want to go into? Because I would be happy to play either side of the Jays Nara matchup, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It is incredibly volatile, and for all the power Gomsu has later in the game, he's not a great laner.
I think it's Gragas. I think that's the answer. You can somewhat neutralize the Jays, bounce around the members of Team Liquid, and, you know, try and set up the fight where you're disengaging for this Jinx peeling. Other option.
Makes sense too.
Of course, it's the Ornn.
Yeah, and Ornn has been so pivotal for Gomsu in these team fights for 100 Thieves in the mid-late game. You even look at some of the games where it almost seemed unwinnable against either Immortals or Golden Guardians in Game 2. Gomsu, with the Ornn engages, helped bring it back.
So something that 100 Thieves, we did talk about pushing lanes and Kennedy getting involved early. I think the other strats they've had a lot of success with is still, it's Kenvi having 3-wave plans, but doing it with a scaling comp. So 100 Thieves, they look for early plays, look to get themselves that small early lead, utilize that to lose gracefully or just get your champions to the later stages of the game where they are strong. And it really feels like that's the strat for 100 Thieves in this game 1.
Yeah, I feel like one of the big things that I have to look at is the fact that this team isn't even weak early, right? You have Victor, his level 1 is legendary amongst mid laners. The Jinx will have early push against the Zeri.
But the big thing is, though, this Rise is the big game changer for Team Liquid. If you get him online at level 6 and start playing towards the top side of the map, it is about snowballing Bradley in that Jace matchup. If he comes online before Gomsu is able to get even his tank items and he can join the fights, this Jace is going to be a huge problem in the Siege.
And it's something that Team Liquid's done so well in this tournament. I know their early games, they've played a lot less games, and they've had higher quality games. They've been in our upper bracket. They won that final. So their gold div of 15, not as dominant as 100 Thieves, who have had more games, beat some of the teams that were knocked out of the tournament. But the thing that really impressed me about Team Liquid, 91% of their games, that is 10 out of the 11 they've played, they've gotten the first 3 turrets. And I look at Jace Rise, Rift Herald control, being able to attack, free up one of those side lanes early. I really feel like that's the game plan for Team Liquid early.
And if you think about where these two teams have taken their steps throughout the entire spring split of 2022, this is a way to cap it all as we load onto the Rift for Game 1 of the Proving Grounds Grand Finals.
And let's do some table setting once again. This is a rematch from what we saw last year, but we don't get any time to do that. They're just coming right to the dinner table.
Yawn.
Okay, just kidding.
Oh, okay. Yawn could have been cat food right there.
Yeah, is that how catfish work?
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. Catfish food. Either way, we do get to see these teams once again. We saw them have a best of 15 last year Academy Summer Finals, Proving Grounds Lower Finals, Proving Grounds Grand Finals, and every single time went to a full 5 games.
Now, I think 100 Thieves, big part of that, if you do attack the bot lane, get there first, Jinx is really good at getting early push. So I think that's the priority, but hey, Kenvi, on the Lee Sin, you can't trade out for the sweeper. So that means that he still has the trinket, and he's going to get spotted starting on that top side. So Team Liquid working with a little bit more information early.
It's something that Chad has remarked about, even though he's not here. It is just something that Knowledge has carried on throughout on his time of 100 Thieves Academy before moving over to Immortals. Kenvi is spotted, and now Bradley's going to get a little bit of damage advantage onto Gomsu in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the extra potions. This is really exciting. He's going to have so much damage he's doing to Gomsu, and Gomsu's not even going to be able to walk up to the wave. He's going to have to burn through this potion. He's not going to be able to get any experience, and this is absolutely huge. We know that Kenvi is going to the opposite side of the map.
Textbook Jace play from Bradley, and hey, Armeo pathing up towards him, so maybe that 3-wave dive.
Yeah.
It is a potentially being set up early, and I think Kenvi spotting that. That's a great ward from Armeo. It does spot him on the cross to Krug, so Bradley has the information to adjust how he plays this lane, make sure that he's not going to be vulnerable to that early gank from Kenvi.
Yeah, you see the ward going down already. It's pink out from Gomsu. They know exactly where it is, and so this feels like Armeo is going to be very comfortably cleaning through this. The jungle matchup is definitely in favor of Armeo if he's able to just farm.
I'm curious if Armeo wants to go for a full clear, because he can still go topside whether he does full clear or a 3-camp clear. But if he goes for the earlier timer while there's that health advantage from Bradley against Gomsu, maybe he can go for an early dive, get that early teleport out of the lane.
It's kind of tough to actually do this like in this lane because he hasn't really been setting it up, right? Normally when you look at this, you want Bradley to start building up and controlling from wave 1, but after Kenvi goes towards the top lane, does his Krug, says, I might be here to interrupt you, Bradley's not going to very easily be able to push this in. And so if you go for it, I think it's mostly just a situation where they want to try and pick up the crown.
And at the moment, I think that we are going to end up having a quite early game.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it is all right for TL as, I changed my mind, Ayla.
He should be fine. However, the traps and gets a lot of damage down on Ayla, force the ignite out of Busio, but Ayla gonna hold calm, drink some cocoa, get some HP back.
So the good for Team Liquid, quieter early game, Josh. I assume, I think we're going to see their first move around the Rift Herald. Or you're waiting to see Ryze hit 6 so they can run more up top, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that, and it's also kind of a player lead, right? They have a lot of experience. These guys have playing together for such a long time, and if you don't give anything over to this Lee Sin early on, the Viego has so many targets he can reset off of, and we know, just as the supports were saying, if Ayla has a chance to roam, it is more likely to be impactful than Busio.
Armeo looping around. Look where he is positioning. Looking for mid lane. Flash root right from Harry. He doesn't have enough mana, so it's not going to be a super commit onto the mid lane.
Good hover from Jimmy and just, textbook mid lane play. Jungle's on the bot side. Make sure you're hugging that side. That's why the flashes were not committed by TL. And first move from Armeo. There's going to be recalls from each jungler, so looks like we're just going to have a slower early game, and we'll see when the first play ends up happening.
I'm really liking this freeze that's also coming out from Bradley, right? As a mid laner swapping up to the top laner. What we said that he was kind of struggling with at the beginning of the season was his inability to understand the wave states and create situations where he was unattackable. But this is a huge growth from the player. This is not what we were seeing in the first half, and he's doing it up against Gamsu, who has had a dominant run.
The other thing, too, is that we didn't even see this much from the Golden Guardian series, which was about a week ago. I don't know what's been going on behind the scenes in terms of the scrim room or the practices leading up to this moment, because it is a big contrast. 100 Thieves have had all this time on stage getting those stage nerves under control, whereas Team Liquid, they've just been in the shadows waiting to make their appearance here in Grand Finals.
That was something that, Wixie talked about, having more info. You talked to him before the game, Alpha, and I think that one thing I really respect about 100 Thieves, the fact that they have been on this stage now 2 times. This is their 3rd being up there. You kind of teased him like, hey, are you worried about stage nerves at all? And he's like, no, we're just going to be here, play our game. This is a comp that we've seen 100 Thieves have success on before. And while I think the slow early game's okay for TL because they're waiting for level 6, waiting for Herald to be on the map to start to make their moves, keep in mind, 100 Thieves, they still have the team comp that we favor as the game moves forward, and if we go late.
If it does go late, I mean, they still have lots of tools available. Kenvi is still chilling around, but one of the things that we gotta highlight is, oh boy, Bradley.
Oh, Bradley walking a little too far forward, but nice flash is gonna keep himself alive. That trap beautifully set up by Gamsu.
I think Kenvi was just a tad bit late going for the play, didn't want to commit the flash, wasn't quite able to chain the knockup into the Sonic Wave, and hey, props to Bradley, survives the first move from Kenvi.
And that's going to be the flash coming out from Gamsu too, so it's not just a free play out here. Armeo is already there. They have a good idea. Kenvi's going to be backing away.
And that's huge for Team Liquid Academy, because you look back at the history of Bradley role swapping to top lane. So many situations in the past, he would have died there, but he gets out alive this time around.
Now, I do think one thing that could be good for the side of Gamsu and 100 Thieves, Ornn, Spellbook, level 6 Ignite, that's no flash on Bradley. It is a spot where you can attack, try and get the solo kill, or if Kenvi comes top again, it's really tough for Bradley to deal with.
Yeah, it feels a lot like 100 Thieves are doing a pretty decent job in their early laning phase at trying to find some standard lanes. They're not going to be running over. One of the things we haven't had a chance to talk about as much is the mid laners. Harry and Jimian have been some of our most dominant laners, but Harry consistently building up 10 CS 10 CS leads at the 50-minute mark. He's always looking for these points of strength, and Jimin's even.
At this point, we need to take a look at where the game state is, because it has been, for the most part, a quiet early game. The Dragon is still up, but neither team is necessarily in the best state to make a play for it. Kenvi, however, is waiting in the wings. Level 6 for Kenvi. Busio is not level 6, though, so he can't necessarily threaten. As we saw in Game 1 against Golden Guardians, Josh, it's really hard to make a gank happen on the Bard.
Double flash, here we go.
Looking for Jimian right here. Does he burn the flash? Gets away from it, but just one more flash commit from Armeo, and that's Team Liquid making the first strike in Game 1.
Really like their first move because this frees Harry up. Yes, he did burn the flash, but now Jimian, if you're no flash on a Victor, it's really tough to get out of the lane.
Yeah.
It's going to enable Harry to go elsewhere, and Bradley, I did tease the all-in from Ornn at level 6. Bradley's chunked him out. That's the Ornn Horn just used to clear the wave. So no all-in threat up top, and guess where we're at in the game? We are 30 seconds till Rift Herald. this is where Team Liquid have really been elite at executing their strategy, making sure they take the first 3 turrets, those 3 outers before enemy teams. I'm expecting TL to try and make a play around this here.
And so we'll watch where the supports go. Immediately, Ayla starts going towards the bottom lane, but Busio cheating a little bit more towards the mid. This is not typical, right? We've been setting up Team Liquid as this team that wants to play around the Rift Herald. They're consistently bringing Ayla up, and historically, they've left Yon down in the bottom side. But this is a pretty different look from them. It's not necessarily them trying to get priority now. I think they'll probably try again in about a minute.
So a little bit on the slower side. Ayla, I think what he is doing is setting up protective vision control for Yon before he leaves him off to do battle against the Super Zoomers down towards the bottom side of the map. Ayla also controlling the Dragon Pit in terms of vision control, making sure that there's not a trade. But Harry wants to punish onto Jimmy and know that there is a flash down in the mid laner, but a kick from Kenvi will keep Armeo at bay. Ayla is going to make the reinforcements come in time, but no more action comes from it.
Ooh, okay. Rocket goes through, doesn't hit anything.
I think if Kenvi was able to kick Harry, maybe the combo takes him down as Harry is missing flash, but look at the health bars. Team Liquid win out on that trade heavily. They do have the window now to try and set up for this Rift Herald as Kenvi forced to retreat to his camps, and with everyone spotted mid.
Yon is all by himself in the 1v2, but popping the electric discharge actually keeps Wixie and Busio at bay, and Ayla still can make something happen here. Busio still has flash, but I don't know if he's too far extended for this one. Ayla and Yon will be able to take down in the 2v2 against Wixie and Busio.
And that's the experience coming through from Team Liquid. They're ready for the dive. Yon says, you can't do this whatsoever. And Ayla, you got to make sure you know when the support's actually coming back from the mid lane roam. He tries to go into the mid to try and find the gank, but the swing back comes through right as Wixie and Busio are looking to overextend. Yon on the Zeri getting a double kill.
And also look at Team Liquid. That's a gift in the bot lane finding the 2v2, but look at how Bradley's setting up the wave top. We did tease that early Herald with the bot lane falling. Bradley getting the slow push into that top outer turret. Armeo's on the Rift Herald. This is going to be a free objective going over to TL.
Well, is it free, though? It is being traded for the Dragon, right? The Mountain Dragon is one of the better ones you can pick up all on its own, and Ornn loves it.
I'd much rather have the Herald. When you look at Team Liquid, you're trying to funnel gold on the Bradley. Yes, it is a trade, but this is TL trading up.
And for Team Liquid, we talked about at the beginning of the draft, if Bradley can snowball out of this lane, one of the big things about 100 Thieves composition in the later parts of the game, it's a huge range advantage. You have Victor lasers, you have Jinx rockets fully stacked up, you have long range engage with Ornn. Siege from Bradley, long range acceleration, shock blast can deal with that.
Yeah, so now we have to pay attention, right? Team Liquid is a team that, we'll look at Kenvi first.
Kenvi wants to punish onto Ayla, knows that this Bard could go down. However, the magical journey is going to take him over the wall. Busio forcing the flash out. The Death Rocket goes a little bit wide on that one, but 100 Thieves trying to make that punish happen.
Really respectful flash coming out of Ayla, and I like how you pointed that out, Rafa, right? They're trying to find something else on the bot side of the map. They know that top's in a really tough spot. The Jace staying even. There's a Rift Herald in the pockets of Armeo, but Ayla able to navigate out of that. That's Kenvi showing the play going wayward for 100 Thieves yet again.
And I think that's one of those things that we were talking about from Armeo, right? Armeo is saying if Kenvi gets countered early on in the game, if he doesn't have a whole lot of impact, Armeo feels like he's going to be better scaling as both a player and in this game as a champion. So now he's the one coming down bot lane. He has some inventive potential paths, and Kenvi's not there to counter gank.
Yeah, but Armeo was spotted on that ward, so it should be thwarted by 100 Thieves to make sure that they know that there's a potential for Team Liquid to invade. Kenvi's staying a little longer, maybe. Oh, no safeguard out. Can he get out of the way here? Forced to flash over the wall.
Yeah, you can't go over that. Busio still got the Devour on the other side. It's not worth it. I love the fact that Armeo is showing some temperance in his actual plays. They try and find something, recognize it's not there.
This is somewhat curious, though, as Armeo. I mean, when you have a Jason in your team, usually you expect that Herald to go top, funnel Bradley plates, but I think this really dispels how Team Liquid like to play. Their bot lane, steady. We've seen Ayla perform not only on the Academy stage, but the LCS stage as well. The fact they're funneling, empowering them early, it's still very important that Team Liquid get that first turret. Doesn't really matter where. They get a bot, though. That does set the Jinx pretty far behind.
Armeo, there's still no flash on the Jimmy, and can Harry set it up? Damage coming in strong. 3/4 HP. Nice. That is a dead Jimmy, and Armeo, does he actually get out? The Skirmishing Saber doesn't even burn him down.
Yo, this is not something we normally think about, but Yon looking for Busio shouldn't be able to get him. I think he walks up at Ayla.
A Tempered Fate. There's no flash from Busio. He should theoretically be fine, but it's a lot of damage coming out from the Young Marksman for Team Liquid Academy. The Burst Fire takes him out, and now Yon and Harry coming in full force. The 3-die trio coming in strong.
And this is what happens when you play through mid, get that rise ahead. The fact that Harry can back up any play that Team Liquid wants to go for. It's the bot lane running with it with a 2v2, but then the team assisting as they're able to take that first turret and get out on the map.
Yo, the cool thing I really want to point out here, people look at Armeo as a general, as a shot caller, but the way he uses his ult to the left side, not putting himself under turret, not taking any more damage than he needs to, allows him to flash out. Kenvi just doesn't have the damage.
Yeah, who says Armeo doesn't know how to use mechanics well? You know, he's got it. He's got it.
He's got the whole package, man. He talks. He knows exactly what to do. He's always on the map. He creates fantastic team fights later on in the game, and he has hands.
And now if we're, in the state of 100 Thieves, this is an Ornn, Victor, Jinx. Yes, these champions are great once you get 2+ items on them, but look at this gold lead for Team Liquid, and look at how Team Liquid likes to play. It's all about the mid game, taking these turrets. The fact they broke the first one, they can just rotate Zeri wherever they want to play strong side. Bradley also really strong at the moment on the Jace, and these turrets can be really tough for 100 Thieves to hold.
And I thought the 100 Thieves were supposed to be the really dominant early game team. What is this?
And that was a big struggle for Team Liquid throughout the entire spring of both Academy and Proving Grounds, right? They always had trouble trying to get through the first 10 minutes of the game. Once they got past it, the mid game was where they reigned supreme. But the fact that they are showing such a dominant opening in game 1 already shows the momentum of this series.
And I think the big key is just control. Once again, Kenvi, lethal jungler. He's leading the tournament. 71% of his games, he's finding first blood. The fact that TL had him tracked from level 1, the fact that Armeo was able to know where he was at, answer elsewhere, and utilize the stronger early composition that TL drafted for themselves to get ahead. Really textbook play coming out of our final boss in the Proving Grounds.
And I have to pull out the way that 100 Thieves are now trying to adapt to the lanes, right? They're putting Ornn in the long lane, the very safe position where he is super far back. It's after 14 minutes, he can teleport out of the lane, but it also means that Harry is one of these players who can have a lot more side lane pressure on this rise. He's actually going to be threatening to win that 1v1 because Gamsu has a frozen heart. He has no resistance.
And when you think about the global pressure that both Bard and Ryze bring into this game, you have to be so careful if you're on the side of 100 Thieves. If you go a little too far along in the lane, you might think, oh, it's just one person here. And then suddenly, Tempered Fate from downtown Realm War comes in to make the play happen. And so now 100 Thieves, you're not only playing to scale, but you're playing with so much reserve.
I think this is fine for TL. I mean, this dragon is going to fall for free. Good on them to pick it up. I think if we're in the shoes, though, of 100 Thieves, it really just is about surviving. Like, how much time can you buy with this Victor? I mean, one of the better wave clear champions you can have from a state from behind, but they aren't going to be able to do anything proactive on the map until 25 minutes plus. And how much can Team Liquid cheat that tempo with those journeys, with those run warps, try and make plays, and attack 100 Thieves being isolated in these side lanes?
The thing is, Cubby, when you have a Victor, you can only be in one lane, right? You have great side laners, you have the Ryze, you have the Jace, and Gamsu
look at this move top.
Yeah, exactly. You're starting to see everybody go up. That's the whole squad coming through. The Realm War come behind, and with a lot of vision cleared out, it feels like we're seeing a huge trade. Look at where Kenvi's going. He's trying to attack whoever comes down to the bot lane turret.
Oh, Wixie, you can't step up like that, man. So much damage from the rest of Team Liquid. They bring their full cavalry in. Armeo's not the only one there, but he's just setting up for Rift Herald. And 100 Thieves, they're just scrambling to try and grab whatever they can get.
It will be an objective bounty, but still, TL able to find the proactive play, find that first turret, and they should take that second Rift Herald as well, which could help them break that final third turret they're looking for.
And it's got to speak the morale a little bit, right? Like, even though the gold trade is technically in favor of 100 Thieves, you got to think what that does to some of our players.
Ayla?
That's a Hex Tech. He can use the gate to get onto Gamsu or Kenvi.
He has Tempered Fate as well. He's waiting out the safeguard from Kenvi. Does he want to look for a Cosmic Binding to slow him down first? Kenvi is slowed, trying to get the kick flash, distance himself away. Shock Blast. Woo! That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. It gets worse from here, guys. It does not get any better. You only have the first item completed. Once you start getting the Muramon, the Cirilla's Grudge coming through, even Ornn's going to start taking some of these big chunks. And we talked about the range of the Victor and the Jinx in the mid game. Able to zone out the Ryze and the Zeri. You can't zone out Jinx.
This is a moment where 100 Thieves have to go back and learn from what they showed in Immortals and the Golden Guardian series, where when they were down this far ahead, they had to regain that mental composure and tell themselves, hey, calm down. We have a chance in the late game. We just need to find a way to survive. But the way that Team Liquid have been putting a stranglehold on them feels so suffocating.
It's just so tough because, I mean, even if 100 Thieves were to group, were to utilize the power of the 5v5, Bradley's Jace, the poke that he's able to pump out onto the Victor, onto the Jinx, it's just going to be a really tough map state for 100 Thieves to find anything. And also for Team Liquid, I do want to, highlight the second Rift Herald that is now theirs. Mid-outer's the last turret they have to knock down, and that's one way to take the turret away from Victor. Throwing down Shelly in the mid lane, trying to get from there.
I mean, you said 90-something%, right, of games where they get first 3
10 out of 11.
10 out of 11, absolutely nuts. But the other thing I kind of want to take a look at is we saw 100 Thieves in a situation like this just yesterday. And the player who popped off in that spot was Busio. They were up against Golden Guardians. They looked completely doomed. They were getting outranged. They couldn't face check, but it was Busio on what he called a monster flank, looking for his way onto Harry on Yon. It's one way that a bit later in the game, they could start looking for another flank. You don't look convinced.
Not on Tom Kench.
I think it's better on Tom Kench. There's not a lot of champions that can do that. I feel like Tom Kench relies on this flank, and it's the only way he can be this primary engage.
That's going to be so hard to lock down this area, though. When she gets revved up with the burst fire and the passive. Oh, Ayla stomping Kenvi in his tracks, and Busio might have given his life just to make sure that Kenvi gets out. Gamsu with a great call towards God will deter any further action. What it seems like, but Team Liquid still want to press forward. Busio, half HP, can't get the great health shield once up again. Yon is revving through and peppering them down. 100 Thieves Academy just looking for something out of nothing, but Team Liquid Academy 10-0. It seems to just almost be the perfect game.
Ayla is popping off today, man. That stun on Kenvi as he comes over the wall completely nullifies any opportunity for a play. 100 Thieves are in total damage control at this point.
And I mean, this stun's impressive, but also 100 Thieves, I think the re-engage attempt on Bradley, it's a decent idea. He's isolated. They're looking for anything. I think the flash from Jimmy in to try and follow up is good, but Bradley, that reaction flash, him picking up top lane, his struggle's been the laning phase. He's so good in the fights when he groups. That was his real strength when he was playing mid on wildcard, and that's just proving grounds. Nice seeing those reaction times there. That prevents any chance that 100 Thieves has to get back in this fight as Armeo and Team Liquid run the rest.
And when we look at the big question for Team Liquid Academy going into the grand finals, it's like, what have you been practicing? Are you guys gonna be cold when you come onto stage after playing non-on stage and non-improving grounds for a week? I think this answers that right away.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit and talk more about Team Liquid's path throughout the regular season, right? They started off, they were playing with Rhino. Ayla was playing up in the top lane. They did not have a chance to play with their full roster, but later on in the split, in the second half of the round robin, they win 66% of games. They go 12-6, and it just feels like once you have 4 of the same 5 members here, it is smooth sailing. They have only dropped 2 games, one to Cloud9 and one to Golden Guardians.
And that was the thing that we were expecting in this game, the fact that 100 Thieves, we've seen them run the lower gauntlet attacking the bot lane. But you know what the best team is at attacking bot? It's Team Liquid. I think a lot of that shows Yon, highest KDA in the tournament, sitting at 8. We said they played tougher competition in the upper bracket, but Yon, the big benefactor of Ayla, that full roster getting back in, him being able to just beef that going into the mid to later stages. He team fights so well. If you get him ahead in the laning phase, he can run with it. And sitting at 5-0-3, it feels like he's just been casually pumping out the damage because the way his team set him up, this game's so good.
Well, they can't get to him, right? When he's got so many stacks, when he's got this Stringy Force completely, he's on 2 items. Not only does he shred people with damage, but it's so hard to get on top of him. He's able to do damage from multiple people because it has the on-hit on the Titanic. It hits through the front line, and Gamsu can't get to him. Kenvi has to go through Harry and Bradley to try and do anything, and there's absolutely no way Busio can ever get to this backline. So it really is them trying to kill Armeo, Ayla, and Bradley in order to get the resets on Wixie.
It's a little close on that turret. Harry's gonna be able to defend it with his life. Next big objective on the table is this Baron. 21 minutes into the game. Team Liquid have not dropped a single death so far. Their utmost control of the game has put them 2 dragons, so 2 away from Soul. But at the rate of how this game is being played out, it is just so difficult for 100 Thieves to get any resources.
I think Baron being on the map, like, if Dragon comes up, at this point as 100 Thieves, like, do you think about just Hail Marrying the Baron? They can see the Dragon and pick up some gold, but it feels like with where the game's at the moment, if they don't try something, they're just going to slowly bleed out and get no access to their camps. I always see that right now with Yon, punishing Kenvi for just being on Wolf.
Kenvi trying to get out. Barely makes it out alive, but that is the punishment for just even going for some of the leftovers, not even the big camp.
The Wolf camp. It's the hardest access.
True. Normally, you just run around, but you do have Lee Sin. He can just jump over the wall, but this is such a terrible position if you are 100 Thieves to be in. We already talked about the poke, we talked about the powerful side lanes, we talked about the powerful AD carry, and when you're starting to lose even your camps, you have no money to even try and come back.
And the other big thing to look at here is how Team Liquid already have in their line of sight what is at the end of the road for them. It is a road to redemption. Last time in the summer, Proving Grounds title was taken away from them by 100 Thieves in that best of 5, in the Game 5. And now Team Liquid, they're the ones making that first step forward to reclaim what was taken.
You're talking a bit about the Baron Cubby. Is there an opportunity for 100 Thieves to play for it? Team Liquid are denying them that. Look at how they've shifted their vision towards the top side to lock 100 Thieves out, right? Like, you know, it's a gamble.
We're going to wait till the dragon spawns. You know, maybe that's when we see the flip. Maybe that's when we see TL drop control. But at the moment, as you pointed out, Joshi, textbook from Team Liquid. Total control over 100 Thieves, topside jungle, looking to take this mid in.
Remember, these turrets don't necessarily help them a whole lot. Ayla does have the ultimate. He can lock multiple people out of the fight, so it wouldn't be the most surprising thing to see Team Liquid find a spot where they're just too far ahead and they just want to dive. They can't come in. It's completely dark.
How do you get through that?
It is nightlight.
You're gonna need more than a nightlight. You're gonna need some strong shields as well to protect you from the spooky ghosts that are lingering around the corner.
I mean, even just the lead that Harry has, again, a lot of this started with Armeo finding the right windows on the Jimmy. And I know that talking before this series, you know, we really felt like 100 Thieves. If there was any way they're going to win this series, take down our top dog's final boss, it had to be in that mid-jungle duo.
Yeah.
The fact that Team Liquid got Harry ahead, he just had 2 levels on Jimmy. He did just ding 14, but that Rise was freed up to make sure the mid-game that TL plays that's so explosive was able to live up to that potential. He was able to impact the side lanes. And, I mean, maybe that's something that 100 Thieves try to revisit when it goes into the next game. I mean, even no matter how this one ends up, it's been a really tough first game for them.
Yeah, one of the things I also want to look at, right, is if you look at the mid-jungle duo, Harry completely convinced he is the best, and bar none.
Wixie still has Flash, but the Cosmic Binding, it's a nice Devour from Lucio to keep his AD carry alive. Wraith Health Shield is popped, Flash and Abyssal Dive away to safety. 100 Thieves Academy keeping themselves at distance here, and now Gamsu might be looking for a re-engage here, but doesn't really seem like Team Liquid are that deterred. They just get some summoner spells out of it.
And honestly, for Team Liquid, I love that skirmish because you've just forced 100 Thieves out. Both neutral objectives are spawning soon. 100 Thieves are stuck in their base. They cannot impact either. And we'll just see which one Team Liquid decides to have for dinner.
Yeah, and while they've got a little bit of vision over towards the Baron, they have some ability to walk in. Armeo's on the opposite side of the map. There's no way that Kimby can try and contest. And as he gets this pushed in, just watch. He'll clear out this wave, make sure Gamsu can't interact, and then Team Liquid back on the map can just go pick up whichever objective they want.
Dragon, Baron, you choose. What do you want first?
Right?
You can probably, on Team Liquid side, just pull out the mobile app and be like, all right, you guys want some Hextech Dragon?
I think that's the call. Yeah.
Yep. Is that it? Is that what we're getting for dinner today? Some Hextech Dragon?
You know, Hextech Dragon does sound nice this time of year.
It's metal.
It's metal and it's overpowered.
That's a good source of iron, guys.
Soul point now over to the side of Team Liquid. Again, 100 Thieves. Now, we did tease earlier that 100 Thieves felt like they weren't going to be able to do anything on the map until at least past the 25-minute mark. Looking at some of these items, it at least is 2 items. Keep in mind, they do have the scaling composition, and I can see some of the idea from 100 Thieves. They've had success winning on comps like this, and also, if there's any weakness to TL, these fast mid-games, sometimes they do play it too quickly. So I think that might have been the idea for 100 Thieves in the first game, but it's been so clean out of our Team Liquid Academy squad. Now, look at this Baron setup. There is a ward snuck in by 100 Thieves on the edge of the Baron, but that's all the vision they have over the neutral objective.
And the big thing you have to be also careful about when you're 100 Thieves is how fast can Team Liquid get from one lane to another, all thanks to things like Realm Warp or even Magical Journey.
As a team, they just move so quickly. Throw Acceleration Gate on top of that, right? There is no way to catch
throw the Hextech Soul.
They're Naruto running at that point, right?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Now they're going to be hitting the Baron. 100 Thieves have no vision. They know that the Baron is getting hit, but they have to face check multiple bushes.
So far, 100 Thieves trying to brute force their way into this pit.
Okay.
Temper Fate doesn't go wide. Oh, whoa. Bradley getting a kick flash from Kenvi, but it goes golden, and he flashes out once again. He is safe, but I don't know if that's the same for 100 Thieves. They're the one getting run down. Wixie with the Gale Force positions himself safely into the backline. Jimmian creating space with that gravity trap. Finds one back onto Bradley, and Team Liquid, despite the re-engage and finding 2 in the fight. They can't push further.
Honestly, that's okay for 100 Thieves. I know it's a 2-for-1, but they get a shutdown. It's on the Jimmy end, and I think that is some of the strength of their composition. When they are able to kite back, it was a bit of an overcommit from TL, but we will see if they can pick up the objective as TL. They are up a member. Bradley will have TP when he spawns, and importantly, Kenvi is off the map, so we'll see if they can brute force this.
This is going to be really tough. There's no ultimates coming through. Busio still has the ultimate, but he's coming out of base. Jimmy might be able to get in.
Oh, this could be tricky here, but it looks like Team Liquid just wanted to bait in 100 Thieves. The Baron has been stopped. Do they want to try for it again? It seems a little too risky now.
That magical journey wasn't too magical. It was...
Well, he's on the desk. There's only so much that can go around, right? It's a situation where
it's almost as slender as he is.
It's also golden, too. It just is working better and better. As we back away, there is still 3 Dragons of Team Liquid. They just need to buy time for the Hextech Soul.
And I do appreciate the attempt from TL, trying to find that fight. Again, no neutral objectives on the map. I mean, Baron's on the map, but no Dragon, right? Where they do have Hextech Soul, so they know that they can fight, try and push around, try and speed up the pace of this game. But 100 Thieves, I mean, it's a huge goal deficit, but at least we are seeing them pull things together, try and play towards their strengths as a comp, which is fighting back, utilizing the range of Wixie on this Jinx, Jimmy and on this Victor. Please get some sort of gold, some sort of play that goes their way.
Oh, Gamsu, you better run high-ho, brother. The Temper Fate coming out. No flash available. Remember, it is a teleport exhaust Ornn, and the rest of the cavalry is here. Gamsu gets pulled back.
That's just an overextension, right? There's nothing to play for. Team Liquid can hit whoever is showing. The nail it stands up, gets hammered down, and Team Liquid, it's just free money at this point. As they move back over towards the Baron buff, they're going to clear out more wards. But as you're pointing out, Cubby, yeah, the last ward that Team Liquid were not able to clear out, still there.
And they won't have Gamsu for the long-range engage, but can they actually still find a way into this pit?
This is tough. They have to know what's going on. It's spotted now with the blue sweep, but Ayla snuck in here, and Jimmy not with the team.
They're turning right onto Busio once again. Jimmy distances himself away. Flash, Armeo and Harry have him in his sights, but it is Busio that escapes with Jimmy on the back end. They take out Bradley. How are 100 Thieves holding on?
Honestly, again, it's the damage from the Victor. He's the one that got the shutdown. Bradley walked into the laser. It's a 1-for-0. The good news for Team Liquid is that the Dragon's coming up. And I think dealing with both these neutrals, now 100 Thieves are at the point where they cannot trade out the Dragon. Hextech Soul would certainly spell doom, even with their scaling comp. It's a 10k gold advantage for TL. That would put them over the edge. So now we'll see if TL decide to make the trade where they actually sack the Dragon and try and take the Baron. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, despite everything that we've seen, it is going to be the 2 kills, right, that have been picked up by 100 Thieves, both of them by Jimmy and both of them onto Bradley. And these Chaos Storms have been absolutely nuts. And as we see Victor coming out with 3 items, he's going to be able to continue pumping out the deeps.
The biggest thing that I was looking at is that Team Liquid, for the most part, anytime I look at a game and a team is ahead by 10,000 gold, I usually think it's game over. But Gamsu on the Ornn gives you the ornamental upgrades, so most of 100 Thieves are actually at comparable stats here, and they're looking for the long-range engage. Kenvi trying to find Yawn, Tempered Fate onto the backline of Wixie, but no one is in position. Can they get into the backline of Punish? But Yawn is now revving up. He's bought the distance away, and Wixie's super critically low. Harry trying to get forward. Kenvi will go down, and now the rest of 100 Thieves, but they take it out the backline, and there it is, Team Liquid Academy find the window to close out this game.
And when 100 Thieves step forward, Team Liquid had the space to create the angles and not allow for 100 Thieves to kite back, to save their big long-range late-game carries. They go down. Team Liquid wipe the fight and take game 1.
And deathless games from 4 members of Team Liquid. Yawn, that was a scary spot, right? He's pushed up against the wall, but he finds his way back over. The rest of the team rallies around him, and then he's free hitting. We've seen this guy so many times throughout the regular season have so much success.
Team Liquid Academy, the revenge is in their sights, and one step has been taken forward. They clean out game 1.
And what an early game from TL. I mean, when you look at how 100 Thieves have had success in this tournament, it has been Kenvi getting involved early. The fact that TL were able to track him, were able to make sure that the first plays were going over to their mid laner, and then when you get Harry ahead on the rise, his ability to impact the map, there was no room for 100 Thieves to do anything until past the first 25 minutes of this game. and they got to make changes moving forward.
But that's a fairly simple thing to fix up, right? It was just one ward that Team Liquid was able to get down that stopped a lot of Ken. Well, he
that was a valuable ward.
He went over it 3 times. He was seen for an effective 2 whole minutes in that first part of the game, and that really nullified his ability to play.
I think the big thing that you can look for if you're 100 Thieves trying to regain momentum and kind of trying to calm down the nerves again, just say, hey, look, yeah, we were down 10,000 gold, but we stalled out the game for quite a while, but we need to go back to the drawing board if you want to continue back in this series again.
And I expect them to stick on red side. I mean, one of the small adaptations you can make, just like take Jinx Viego, and you can make sure that doesn't go over to the hands of Armeo, maybe change up one of the bans. I still think it's a decent approach from 100 Thieves. We've seen them have success with that comp against other teams in this tournament, but those other teams aren't Team Liquid. They are so strong with 4 out of the 5 members returning from their success of last summer. There's going to be a tough team to beat. We'll see if 100 Thieves are up to the task moving forward.
All right, well, but before we head back to the desk, we've got a few words from Jan, Team Liquid's AD carry.
I think the differences between me and Wixie would just be that I have experienced way more than him. I've learned more from, like, let's say, Core JJ, who's taught me a lot. I've just learned how to play laning phase. Mostly me as a player, I've learned a lot from him all throughout my basics. Even this year at the LCS lock-in, I've learned a lot. I think I've upgraded a decent amount.
Welcome on back to the Proving Grounds desk powered by Verizon after an intense game number 1 by Team Liquid. Before we get to talk about that, though, we got to talk about the Samsung Fast 5. Because, guys, we've had some interesting stuff here along the lines of stats coming in for this week specifically. Now, Diamond, I know you have something that stood out to you at least.
Yeah, I mean, support's kind of slow.
Well, I mean, no one could break that record. I was gonna say, like, what, 2 years ago when you had like that first game of the season?
Last year.
Oh, it was last year. That's what it was. Where you had like the 5-something that 550, literally nobody ever could beat.
World record PR and 80% support item is about in. I mean, 8. I think like most supports. There's not that many mages, I guess, right now. So like, you can't really do like spell thief. So I guess it's all like really chilled. But yeah, it's kind of slow.
That's the way to go out as well. And getting to see some of those stats from the past couple days has been intense because 100 Thieves have been a huge part of that. Do you have anything that stood out to you, Magical, about that Samsung Fast 5?
I mean, I gotta agree with the support. It's slow, and that's why. The only reason, though, I think it's because we're seeing a lot less of the mages. We're seeing more, you know, try to be engaged, try to really help out other ways. So you're not really getting the high stats. Though I am still surprised that Busio, when he did play that NASA support, didn't actually have a fast one there. Like, I thought he'd be able to break that record because he started what, 3-1 in that game on NASA support.
Mm-hmm. It's actually crazy, but hey, you know, it is NASA support all in the end. But what an incredible little bit. Do I hear something?
No, you're going crazy.
I'm going crazy. Okay, we'll keep going. That sounds like coming.
1,000.
I hope not.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Oh, sorry,
yes,
it's here. I'm not getting in the way of anything, am I?
Everything.
A little bit. I mean, we're kind of in the middle
What's
of
up?
an analyst.
You know, guys, I'm actually happy I ran into you guys here, because I gotta say I've been seeing some weak fingers on broadcast lately, and I was trying to think of a nice way to bring it up, you know, because I don't want to be rude about it, but I wanted to give you guys some stuff
not
here.
being rude.
Because you need to make sure that you're working on your finger strength. These are from the folks over at 1HP. You know, they're worried about gamers and their health and their warm-ups and stuff. So just wanted to make sure that I helped you guys out. I also got some stuff set up here. Diamond, you're a gamer, right? I hear that you do some gaming.
Yeah, I play games before.
All right, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Get up here. All right.
Maybe a gamer.
So, Diamond, do you ever have any shoulder pain, any shoulder issues while you're gaming?
I don't have shoulders, actually.
You don't have shoulders? Well, that's a lie. I can see them right now, but I appreciate your wit. So this one, we're gonna start with a supinated rear deltoid fly, all right? So you're gonna have your palms up. This is something anybody can do from home. You know Zach? Zach from League of Legends? He's a champ, he's got a lot of elasticity to him, right? Yeah, I just learned that word today. Super fun one, it's a big one. It's a big one. This is kind of like that, right? You feel the shoulders open here. Now come over here. I hear that you're a mid lane player at one time, right?
Yeah.
Play mid lane? Well, Syla is one of my favorite champions of the game. Totally shredded. Totally shredded guy. Absolutely love him. You can try this one. This one's for the wrist. How your wrist feel? Do you ever have wrist pain?
I don't have wrist, actually.
You don't have wrists either. I don't know what's your anatomy, man.
This is some anatomy
Check it out. You got the chains. No more cages, man. No more cages. Check it out.
When I played mid, this is the song I'm gonna say.
All right, there you go. See, everybody's got this at home. Like, these are all just common items. Drop that down because I'm gonna show you one more. All right. So this final one again. Object. Anybody at home, you can do this right at your gaming setup. You know, at your PC, whatever you got. This is a static hold, right? Static, top of the wrist strength. You know, you just hold the hammer for as long as you can. You know, you played support, right? Nautilus? We're gonna do dredge line mechanics, dude.
Porn.
You got this.
Support.
You got this.
If I die, sorry, Nick fan.
All right. But I don't want to be too intrusive because I know you guys are doing your own thing.
Too intrusive. You took over the analyst.
I'll let you guys get back to it, but make sure you're doing your finger stretches, okay? You know, make sure you're working out those
Stole
hands.
diamonds.
You stole mine.
You stole diamonds? That's just rude.
Both of them.
Material possessions are no joke, man.
Wow, you're Kimbo. Kimbo.
I'm trying. This is slippery for some reason.
All right, well, we got
give you yours back.
Kungus here, so let's at least make him work for it. So throughout the rest of the desk, while he's getting warmed up over there, we will have a few choice words to make sure we're getting all the work out of Kungus we possibly can. So for the hammer over there, we've got the bot lane is going to be the key word. So once that comes up, he has to go ahead and do a workout over there with the hammer. 2v2 will be the Silas chains, apparently. As that will be.
Why are you
the work that
laughing,
he has
man?
to do.
I put a lot of thought into this.
No
Okay?
more cages. No
No more cages.
And the last one, it's going to be the early game is the word, as it'll be the
So can I
the
get
last
into that early game right away?
I mean, yeah, there you go.
We're going.
Let's get to work.
We're going.
But in all actuality, we're gonna keep talking about this first game we saw, because kind of like yesterday, where it seemed like 100 Thieves came out with a haymaker, so do Team Liquid Academy. And I want to get your thoughts right off the bat, Diamond, because they came out swinging in game number 1.
Yeah, they were swinging. Bot lane.
I like how you make sure you're like looking. Let's
Wait,
see what
is this bot lane? Yeah, this is bot lane, right?
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, I mean, I thought that like the early game was like there were a lot of unforced errors. I feel like that's how this game was played out. I don't think like it was draft related or anything. I felt like they were just misplaying like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like how TL got ahead was not really themselves like actually making good plays. It was more like every team kind of losing their fingers. And I mean, that's how it happens sometimes in game 1. Like when you warm up the first game, you like kind of stumble, and that's what happened for 100, unfortunately.
Yeah, they just got a bit caught out, especially bot lane, right? We look at how
I'm already on bot lane, man.
Okay, well, it's a natural conversation here. Don't worry, I'll get.
Don't interrupt.
Sorry.
So the bot lane 2v2, how is that
there you
for
go.
you? So, because you looked at that and you look at how that really played out, and Jan and Ayla really did take so much control from that one dive that was attempted in the bot lane by 100 Thieves, and that essentially made it so that that game was nearly impossible for 100 Thieves because how far ahead Jan had gotten initially.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it all came off of the bot lane 2v2 as well, that we throw him off with the double words. He's got both of them in his hand.
Also, now does he have to do one really quickly? And, oh wait, no, oh my God, he does.
He's actually got both of them.
Oh,
but in all actuality, right, like getting to see Ayla capitalize. The reason why we were talking so highly about this guy, because he is popping up. He deserves a lot of the praise that has been levied towards him. And I want to get your thoughts on his first game, because Team Liquid have had a little bit of time off, but it doesn't seem like they've missed the beat, Diamond.
Yeah, what's the other one? I forgot.
Early game.
Early game?
Okay.
I got you. Like,
I gotta be careful. I told them I wouldn't break the set.
I was like, if you look at the early game and how the bot lane's 2v2 went.
Oh my God! All right, that's too far. We gotta yell in the ear for production saying, "Let's be careful where Kungus' health here."
No, I think Ayla played really well in this game. I mean, I don't think he did like anything like too crazy out of the box, but he did like what he had to do, and I think like the enemy team kind of like just like gave it to him. I felt like I want like more games where like he actually has to take him out of the box and play like better towards the lane and just like force the enemy team to mess up. And personally, I thought it was like a good game to start, especially from TLA. If you come from this game like to the next one, like you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and I think we were looking at the bot lane 2v2 a lot of the time. Going into
this one's actually really fun.
Kungus, Kungus isn't supposed to have like all the brain cells in his head, so we're throwing him loops here.
How's the angle on the camera right now?
He still hasn't doing the 2v2. I'm just saying.
But in all actuality, right? We were talking before the
switched.
series, talking a little bit about the differences between both supports and how Busio will play a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more like the mid lane he came from, and Ayla is a little bit more reserved, trying to think of things happening beforehand and then act upon it. And when you see the game play out like this, I think that seeing Busio get punished by Ayla early was an interesting fact.
Yeah, as I said, I felt like maybe Busio was just playing for fun again. Like it was.
It's a little bit of the hyphiness coming through.
Yeah, I feel like the way they lost was just so weird.
It was, but I also think it's part of the bans, right? That Dia ban that was levied towards them. One of the biggest strengths we've seen from 100 Thieves in the bot lane is Xayah Rakan. They've utilized that in many ways because Busio has had his best performance when he's able to play that champion, especially getting these early leads in the early game to try to see if he can pressure them and look for initial 2v2 fights.
I'm dying. But you're completely right. And I think in Busio's situation, Diamond, what do you do to come back into game 2?
I mean, you just have to know like what your role is in the game. I think he was trying to do too much, and I feel like doing too much is like a big bane of like the newer players, like rookies, for example, will try to just do way more than they have to. And I think sometimes if you have a game like this where like you're just running it down, I had games like this too. Like you just need to reset your mental and like understand that like your teammates will be there for you. You know.
Are we supposed to like throw it to a break at some point?
You know, I see there's like a stone over there.
Oh, is it time?
You know, I think it's time for the true test of Kungus. Let's see if he can do it.
You want to try this one out?
Are you Italian name by any chance?
All right.
Don't do this, Diamond.
This is it. Game 1 of the books, guys.
Hey, game 1 going into game 2. Maybe this is exactly what 100 Thieves Academy need to come back. So let's see the Kungus lift and send it away to game number 2. We'll have a short break before the game gets started.
He's really bummed.
Verizon is going ultra with 5G ultra wideband in many more cities, so you can do more. Mindy, with up to 10 times faster speeds, she can download a movie in minutes or a song in seconds.
Yep.
Okay, now let's work off-site. Public Wi-Fi? No thanks. 5G ultra wideband is faster and safer, and so powerful that it's not just for phones. Hello, 5G home and business internet. It's time to go ultra with Verizon, America's most reliable 5G network, so you can do more.